So I suppose I wanted to write about. It's probably an odd way to sort of to go about the process of writing, but I wanted to write about what it was like to experience, I guess, some of the prejudices that I had to experience from where I grew up in. And there were a number of occasions, especially as a student at South End College, where I would have, I would be pulled over by an officer, and almost to an experience, they would tell me to sort of turn around and go back to where I belong. And I wanted to write about what it's like to sort of live in America and be told, turn around and go back to where you belong. And it's sort of loosely based on a real story. A good friend of mine, I took the ride out with him, whose younger brother had a problem with drugs, and he disappeared for 3 days. We never heard from him. Or cell phones or anything of that nature. So we went to look for him because we had heard that he might have been attending a party out on Boone Road in West Hampton Beach, and I took the ride with him, tried to find him. We were pulled over, and had a very similar experience. So I wanted to sort of combine some of the experiences that I had with that sort of very frustrating experience. The character, Nick, is a college student, and he's gone out to West Hampton to look for his brother, where he's told to turn around. His brother is really very talented, very smart, but just deeply troubled. And while the cop actually makes him sort of strip down in the middle of January, while he runs his license and his information, he's sitting on the car and he's thinking about a lot about his upbringing, and where maybe things started to go wrong for his younger brother Jeffrey. In either event, the police officer, sends him on his way and basically tells him to turn around, go back to where he belongs. And he's driving back to Massac Beach, and he starts to think about, just think about a situation in the station. So I just want to start at the spot where the police officer lets him go, where he lets him go on his way. So he's driving in the car here. Minutes later, Nick was reaching the roundabout where he needed to yield and noticed that the cop had followed him out. He locked stares with him in the rearview mirror, and the cop nodded to him just as the circle cleared. They parted ways. His body warmed as he blasted the heat and watched the slick surface of twin ponds glide by his passenger window, frozen under a foot of ice. Winter birds waddled with their young through paths cleared by skaters. Every star was visible. It made everything inside Nick seem immense. Earth, a place to be swallowed. Massac Beach, a labyrinth. Guilt, anger, love, unavoidable. Life, long. Stars, mighty things to hide between. Waddling birds in their roost, sage in their simplicity. It stuck in his chest to think so, but just then he wanted Jeffrey to run and hide and disappear, even if it meant he would never see him again. Jeffrey wasn't part of the same world. Nick knew this now. He'd break spirits that tried to ground him. Was bigger than all of them. Nick was mistaken to try and find him. For what? And who would he find? And do what? And how would he convince something that had sailed away so long ago to come back over the bridge? To his own destruction. The cop even told him so. He shook his head at how, just hours ago, he was praying to find him. A short while ago, he breathed with relief that a cop might be able to find him. Now he couldn't imagine a worse fate. And wasn't that how the world he lived in really was? Always having to wait for a bad thing to happen so it makes way for something potentially good. He pulled into his driveway and idled there. The heat was still on. Light bled white and silver onto the frost-speckled lawn when his mother pulled the front door open. He watched her peer through the reflection of their glass door, shield her eyes, and press her face against the glass. She focused on Nick. The exhaust pulsed, spat clouds of mist around his car. Nick watched her and then looked over at the empty passenger seat where he knew his mother was hoping to see her other son. He looked at the seat and half smiled at Jeffrey. Not there, but never before so close.